So we're back again with the body of our hat finished. So I've knit in garter stitch until my hat measures 16 centimeters from the cast on edge up to here. I'm knitting the adult size, so that's the height that I need to knit to. If you're knitting the baby size, you need to knit until your hat measures 11 centimeters. And if you're knitting the child size, you need to knit until your hat measures 14 centimeters. So now I'm ready to shape the crown. If you're knitting the teen and adult sizes, you'll notice that there's special instructions for you on row 1 and 2. If you're knitting the baby size, you don't start shaping the crown until row 3. So if you're knitting the adult and teen sizes, you'll start now with me. We're going to do some decreases to shape the crown. So we're going to start by knitting 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to knit 2 together. This is done in the same way as we would normally knit a stitch, but we're going to knit through 2 stitches at the same time. So I'm going to take my right hand needle and I'm going to start putting it through the second stitch on my left hand needle, and it's also going to go through the first stitch as well. So if we turn it over here, you can see I've got the needle through both those stitches at the same time. You can see that happening there. And then I'll just bring my yarn around my back needle as normal and then lift that left needle up and over. And that means that I've knit those 2 stitches together, and you can see them there joined together. So I've decreased 1 stitch. I've taken 2 stitches and turned them into 1. Now I'm going to repeat that instruction all over again, which is knit 5, and then knit 2 together. So once again, let's do that together and slowly putting my needle through 2 stitches at the same time, and then I will knit that stitch as normal, or those 2 stitches as normal, joining them together. And I keep doing this until 2 stitches remain. 4, 5, and then knit 2 together. Sometimes when you knit those 2 together, trying to get them both on your needle at the same time can be a little bit tight. So you just give yourself a little bit of patience as you do it. And you might see me stopping there counting just to make sure I have got those 5 stitches before I knit 2 together. If ever you lose count in between, you can look back at your work and just check. So I can see, if I pull my work down a little bit, I can see regular stitch, regular stitch, regular stitch, regular stitch, and regular stitch. And I can see, if I look closely, when I pull it down, this one here has 2 stitches converging with 1 stitch coming out of the top. And you can also see this on the back. What you'll notice is small, 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 large. And that's because 2 stitches are being knit together. You can also pull those apart and see that there's actually 2 stitches that have been knit there. So if you do get lost or lose count, you can look back and read your work. So I'm up to a knit 2 together, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 2 together, We're almost at the end. This row hasn't taken us too long. Where are we? There's our knit two together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. And I'll knit two together. And then I'll knit two together. Then I've got 2 stitches remaining and I'll knit those. So that's our first row if you're doing the teen and adult sizes done. And if you're doing the teen size, you should have 38 stitches at this time. And if you're doing the adult size, you should have 50 stitches at this time. So we'll turn our work over. And for row 2 here, we're just going to knit every stitch. So this is a bit of a rest row in between our decrease rows. So just knitting all stitches. We don't need to do anything special on this row, just knitting, just like we've been doing in every other row for the body of our hat. So from every second row from now on, our rows will get shorter and shorter. We'll have fewer and fewer stitches to knit. So it won't take us long to finish our hat now. We're just about there. Okay. We're just about at the end of this row. And now, this next row for the crown shaping, row 3 in your pattern, is for everyone. So all sizes are going to do this row. The baby size, the teens or child size, and the adult size. So the first thing we're going to do is knit 4, and then knit 2 together, and then knit 4 all the way along. If you're knitting the baby size, you'll end up knitting 4, knitting 2 together, knitting 4, knitting 2 together, knitting 4, knitting 2 together, all the way to the end, and you'll end up with 0 stitches. If you're knitting the teen or adult size, you'll knit 4, knit 2 together, knit 4, knit 2 together, all the way till you have 2 stitches remaining, just like before. Up to knit 2. Oh, I keep splitting the yarn there with that one. There we go, that's better. And we're just about to the end. And we'll knit two together. And then we've got two left over to knit by themselves. And now we're up to row 4, which is just a plain knit row. And because we've decreased several stitches, we're now going to have fewer stitches to knit. So if you're knitting the baby size, you will have decreased 6 stitches. And if you're knitting the teen size, you'll also have decreased 6 stitches. And if you're knitting the adult size, you'll have decreased 8 stitches. And you'll decrease that many stitches every decrease row. Just about at the end of this row again. Okay, that's row 4 complete. And let's turn our work around and begin row 5. We're going to knit 3 and knit 2 together. And you'll notice that each row is pretty similar. There's just fewer stitches between the decreases on our decrease rows. There we go. We're just about done this row. They're much quicker now that there's fewer stitches, aren't they? And we'll do 2 together, and then we've got 2 remaining. If you're doing the teen or adult sizes, you'll have 2 remaining at the end of your row. If you're doing the baby size, you won't have any stitches remaining after your last decrease. And now on row 6, we just knit all stitches. That's row 6 done. If you have a look at your work, you should be able to already see that it's starting to come around and it's really gathering in, making a nice round shape for the crown. You can really see how it's turning into a 3D shape now instead of a flat shape. You can really see that happening now. So let's get on to row 7. That is knit 2, knit 2 together. And then our final knit 2 for this row, and then knit 2 on the end. And then row 8 is just knit all stitches. And then row 9, we'll knit 1 and knit 2 together. Knit 1, knit 2 together, all the way to the end, until we have 2 stitches remaining if you're knitting the 2 larger sizes, and you'll have no stitches remaining after your last decrease if you're knitting the baby size. Our last knit 2 together, and then we knit 2. Then we turn it around for row 10, which is our final round, and instead of knitting all these stitches, we're actually going to knit 2 together all the way around, and this is for all sizes. So we just knit 2 together all the way around. Knit 2, knit 2, knit 2, knit 2, knit 2, all the way to the end. Some of these stitches might be a little bit tight. That's normal. Okay, if you're making the baby size, you should have 6 stitches remaining. If you're making the teen or child size, you should have 7 stitches remaining. And if you're making the adult size, you should have 9. And I've got 9 stitches remaining. Okay, we're ready to do the finishing. The first thing we're going to do is cut a generous tail. So I'm leaving maybe about 60 to 80 centimeters, and I'll cut that tail ready for finishing. I'll see you in the next video.